And welcome back to another week of Atheists on Air Beyond the Trailer Park. I hope everyone has recovered from the days and days of eating and presents and partying and drinking and all of that fun stuff, and I hope everybody had a great holiday. And this week, we're really excited to have Miss Ashley from fuck.
Never required.
Thank you. My apologies, people. My computer has been fucking with me all evening. So, Miss Ashley, No Religion Required podcast. We're so excited to have you with us.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, as some of you may have seen, my regular co-host Beth is off recuperating from moving this evening. She's been moving all weekend. So, hi Beth, I hope you get some rest because moving really sucks. So, in her stead, I thought, well, we haven't had Foda on for a while. So, welcome to our friend Dave Foda, who's been messing with Google. Dave got himself a Chromebook, and now he's messing with all the little things that Hangouts will do. Say hello, Dave.
Hi.
Like, the flashing birthday cake. Yay, all right. So, everybody survived their holiday. Oh, look at that. Dave's got his pin pad on. Isn't that nice?
Look, if it changes him to look like God, we're in trouble.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I can do that. I can do that.
Oh, shit. You might want to leave that one on. People might believe it after a while.
If there is a God, this is what he looks like.
It's Dave, yes. Actually, I think he told me he was God last night. Oh, very nice, very nice. You're a cat, Dave. I thought you hated cats.
I do hate cats.
You just want to be one? Is that it? Oh, God. So.
What is this?
What?
That's an alien with a mohawk, I think.
Okay. This one probably suits me better.
I would think so, yes. Oh, shit. You just leave. Yeah. See, right now, the best I could do is pick up one of those and put it on my head, but I don't think he's going to cooperate. He's kind of sleeping. Oh, shit. So, oh, you never know. So, what did you guys do for the holidays? Anything fun?
Dave,
6 family events, like 3 days.
Yeah, you were really fucking busy.
And the last one was yesterday, right? And this was my father's side of the family, where the entire crew together at my aunt and uncle's every year. And it's usually the weekend after Christmas. And that side of the family always has the best dumb shit going on. My cousin is, well, these two cousins, they're a couple. They have one's cousin-in-law, of course. They are very conservative Christians. They belong to he grew up Lutheran. She grew up Baptist, I think. And they're into the Amway.
Oh boy.
And she is also into woo. She is currently she's got a couple of health issues, and she's currently visiting a chiropractic neurosurgeon, whatever the hell that is.
Wow.
So she was wanting to tell me all about this stuff and how she's so much better off, and how she's changed her diet, and she's basically not eating a fucking thing, is what it boils down to. There is no grain, there is no dairy. She eats very few. The vegetables that she eats will be green leafies, or leafy green vegetables, but she doesn't eat anything like no carrots, no celery, no beans, no nothing like that. I don't know how the hell she's getting nutrition.
I was about to say, is she not hungry?
Wow.
Well, she doesn't eat that much to begin with, but still, that kind of diet, ugh.
I'd starve.
That actually reminds me, I just watched the South Park episode about gluten-free. Yes?
Yeah, you need to do a gluten-free episode of Beyond the Trailer Park.
There we go. How the hell do we do that?
You know what?
What we do is we all three of us go on a gluten-free diet for at least 2 weeks, and then come back on that Monday, and discuss it.
I would starve. I don't think I could go.
Yeah, I would too.
I'd have to eat cheese, because yeah, that'd be
It'll
it.
start the show out with all of us shoving brownies in our face.
Yeah. I still got a quarter of a cheesecake in my fridge from earlier this week, so I gotta finish it.
Well,
You might like it.
I'll have to tell you this: we had some good desserts up there, and my cousin, one of my other cousins, it's a great redneck Christmas when, with a mouthful of cake, my cousin walks outside, looks around, and says, "Well, damn, it's almost too dark to shoot."
Oh shit.
Oh, damn.
What is that? He told me the other day, you're not a redneck, but you play one on Christmas.
I said that?
Yeah, you did.
I did say that. I did say that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, because we go up there. They've got a lot of land, and we go up there. We got all the 4-wheelers out. We got the motorcycles out. We got the paintball guns out. It's just. I didn't actually get into paintball this year, but I got real muddy.
And if he kills something, bounce it on top of his Crown Vic.
That's right. You know what? My father was a big hunter, and up here, the thing is to go way the fuck up north and shoot a moose. And when I was about 5 or 6, I remember my father coming home from one of these trips with all of his buddies, and this was probably about 1977 or so. And he came home, and they had strapped the head of the moose on the hood of the pickup truck and driven like 12 hours from up north with this fucking thing on the front of the pickup truck. And because I remember being grossed out by it when I was little, but, they chopped up the rest of the moose into the truck, but the fucking head drove home, Yeah,
that would be Dave, because he'd be like, y'all, I can get from New York to, like, Georgia in 4 hours.
With a moose on the front. Oh, you would.
Well, Ashley remembers me telling the story of driving from Charlotte to Staten Island in it was like 9 hours and 15 minutes. It's supposed to be like a 12 or 13 hour trip, and I made it 9 hours and 15 minutes.
Well, that doesn't surprise me either.
And I was driving a little damn 4-cylinder Ranger.
Damn.
Yeah, so 4 hours in the Crown Vic next time.
Surprised you didn't wear it out.
He might have about 10 cops behind him, but
you just keep going.
And then all you do is, once you get down to Georgia, all you got to do is tell them, look, I got deer in the back, I got a moose in the back, whatever you want to say it is, and I'll be more than happy to give you some, and they'd be all about it. And ticket wiped free. You ain't got to worry about it.
Yep.
Just deer meat.
Awesome.
And I'm assuming you know that because Bobby's done it before?
No, actually, it's not because Bobby's done it before. It's just because I know the damn South. They love their deer meat.
Well, they like it a lot here too, actually. I come from a long line of rednecks, and yes, there's usually things like deer and rabbit in the freezer, and they like wild turkey is big around here too.
Really? Ours consists of deer meat and hog.
See, we don't have wild pigs here, so that's not an issue. If it was a hog, it's on a farm, and you could just go out and kill it easily. Oh, good. Oh, husband brought the wine bottle. Yay. Oh, I'm getting service.
Bring the bottle.
Yes, while I'm getting service here. Look at this. Ooh, thank you.
Maybe I should have made other arrangements instead of him just being my sound guy.
Yeah, well. See, he
Well,
doesn't.
consider yourself lucky. I have to do everything myself.
Yes, you do. And you're on a Mac or a Chromebook. You can't like walk around with your phone anymore either.
As he throws the eyebrows up.
Somebody take that away from him, will they?
That's the question. I know. Can we put a filter on it? I need to Google stuff.
So Miss Ashley, tell us a little bit about yourself and your show and all that fun stuff.
Well, my show, or our show, shall I say? It's not my show. Our show is No Religion Required. We are based here in the heart of the Bible Belt, Savannah, Georgia. Bobby is an atheist, yes, and let me make it known because he's going to make it known to everybody else that I did out him to his mother. Just thought I'd point that out.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She pissed me off. She's got a way of pissing me off, and Bobby just finally told me, she's like, one day you're just going to have to just say something to shut her up. So I did. I said, well, let me tell you something. Your son's an atheist. Needless to say, she got up and left.
Oh, man.
Well, it got her to shut up, and she was out of my house, so that was good. But when Bobby first started doing the show, he did the show by himself. Yes, he talked to a wall, and apparently the wall wasn't talking back, so he was looking for a co-host. Well, I did not want to be a co-host. Actually, at the time, I didn't want to be any part of an atheistic type situation. I grew up Southern Baptist, and I probably can tell you the amount of times I heard on my hand twice that I heard the word atheist, and it wasn't very nice. So, well, about 10, 11 episodes in, he says, hey, we're going to ReasonCon. I'm like, okay, what the hell is that? He's like, well, it consists of a whole bunch of non-believers getting together, and there's going to be some people there that are going to be talking. You know, people like Ryan Bell, and I'm sitting there going, who the fuck is Ryan Bell? I didn't know who any of these people were, okay? And he's like, and you know, the other guy, God, my mind's gone blank now, and I know, I feel like
Richard Carrier?
now. Yeah, Richard Carrier. And I'm like, okay, well, I know nothing of these people. He's like, no, he said, I think it'd be good for you to go. And I finally decided, I was like, you know what? All my life I've heard twice that atheists were bad people, and that they're devil worshippers, and, you know, and just, you know, anything that you could think of that made it look bad. So I said, I'm a grown-ass woman now. I don't live at home with mom and daddy, grandma, granddaddy no more. Let me go find out for myself. And yes, I went to ReasonCon scared to death. Did not hardly. I mean, this, you got to understand, Hickory's a 5-hour drive for us.
Right.
So I was like, okay. Did not talk the whole way there. Didn't even listen to Bobby's podcast on the way there. But I was a nervous wreck because I was scared I was going to go there and there was going to be, you know, babies hanging from trees and crosses being burned, and, you know, I was worried that there was going to be people out there protesting left and right, and, you know, here I am walking through going, what the fuck, you know? So I got there, and believe it or not, walked in, and first thing that happened, I got introduced to a couple of people and with open arms. They didn't know who the hell I was. They didn't know if I was a believer or a non-believer. They didn't know any damn thing about me, and I was I was welcomed with open arms. And that right there, first off, was like, okay, let's see what the rest of this is about. So we stayed, and we got there Friday night. Well, actually, we got there Saturday morning to the actual ReasonCon, and I sat there and I listened to people talk all day long, and I met a bunch of nice people all day long, partied all night, got to listen to, you know, a whole bunch of drunk podcasters all night long. And
God, we had a blast.
I can tell you, when I left there, my whole thought process of atheism was totally gone. You know, first off, I was like, okay, first off, these people are wanting to help society. They're not wanting to hurt society. You know, they're trying to make things better for everybody. They're not trying to hurt anybody. First off, how can you say they're devil worshippers when they don't even believe in the devil, first off? So, you know, we're riding along, and I'm like, okay, well, we're on our way back Sunday. And I was like, all right, I want to listen to the podcast. So, meaning Bobby's at the time. So he puts on Living with a Believer, his podcast. So, and I'm sitting there listening, and I look over, I'm like, you ass. Because I realized who the fuck he was talking about. I'm like, are you kidding me? So finally he turns that off, and I look over and I was like, you know what? You need a fucking co-host. So needless to say, you know, a couple of weeks later I started doing news stories, and that was it. And then it just kind of led into the, you know, he's like, hey, have you ever read the Bible? And I'm like, no, it's too damn boring, you know.
You got that right.
I'm like, I've tried to read the Bible. I tried to read the Bible, even the Bible that you go out and you buy, and it's like you can read in 365 days because each day has a certain amount of scriptures you can read. At the time, I didn't know it was only a certain amount of scriptures they wanted you to read. So,
funny how that works.
Yeah, it is. So I started reading the Bible on the show, and I'm not summarizing any verses. I'm not summarizing any chapters. I'm actually reading it word for word. And yes, there are some what the fuck moments. And there's some are you shitting me moments, okay? Because first off, I want to know why in the hell did Eve get blamed for something that when she didn't even exist yet?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that I'm having to suffer birth pains because Adam didn't have the balls to tell me not to eat from the fucking tree?
Well, and she didn't even know what right and wrong was.
And you know, I guess I need to ask something. Is it okay for me to drop the F-bomb?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I'm glad I asked that. I meant to ask that before we started, because when I started talking about the Bible, it really, 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 really gets to me. So right now I am almost done with Genesis. I probably have about 7 chapters left. And I can tell you that just reading from what I've read so far, if there is a God, then if it's ever known that if it's ever proven that there is a God, I don't think I want to follow this man or whatever it is. And to be honest with you, I don't even think there is a God.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what would you characterize your place now? Yes, Dave?
Yeah, it's almost like Ryan and Ashley were going on the same journey at the same time.
Yes.
Mhm. And you know, when I heard what Ryan was doing, and the first time I ever heard about Ryan Bell and what he was doing was at ReasonCon last year. And I was like, okay, if this man can do it, I can do it, you know. And it's not necessarily saying that I'm going to wake up the next morning after I leave ReasonCon and go, oh, I'm an atheist. I wasn't going to do that. I was actually going to research, and I was going to find the good. Because I asked Bobby, too. I was like, tell me something good about atheism. Because at the time, he was in his moment where he was just pissed off at the world. You know, he had just confirmed himself as an atheist. And so he was really, really.
He only has a couple of moments at a time.
Huh? You broke up there.
Does he only have a couple of moments at a time? I thought he was pissed off all the time.
No, he's starting to calm down now. I think that has a lot to do with me, because I have to look at him and go, all right, down boy. Oh, that's down right. I did not just talk to that man. He's a dog. I'm sorry, dog. No, he gets very passionate. And like I said, at the time, he was just mad. I mean, it seemed like every time I turned around, it was F Christians, and Christians are stupid. And I understand where he was coming from now, but at the time, I was still a believer. You know, I still had and it wasn't so much my faith as a Christian, because I was a Buddhist at the time.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a Buddhist, you sit back and you don't worry about what you don't worry about what Christians are saying or what they believe in. All you got to do is just have compassion for them. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, okay, do me a favor. Tell me something good about atheism. So he looks at me, he's like, what do you mean? He's like, they don't believe in God. I'm like, okay, no. You got to understand. You've got to tell me something other than they don't believe in God. So then he starts doing some research, and he starts pointing, bringing up websites and showing it to me. I'm like, oh okay, I can see this. So, and then when I started seeing the humanism side of it, it really reached my heart, because I hate that there's hungry people out there. I hate that there's people that don't have homes out there, and I'm a avid speaker on abuse, and especially towards women.
Mm-hmm.
I do understand that there are men out there that are abused by women, but for certain reasons, I am very, very strong about abuse towards women. And as I was reading the Bible, I realized where a lot of that abuse comes from,
Yes.
especially knowing
Yeah.
the abusers. And so everything started kind of like clicking, and all the answers that I have been searching for that I thought that I might have found in Buddhism, I started finding in atheism.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, and it just the people there, man. I mean, just the people that are in this, and I don't know if I can call it if I should call it a movement or not, but just the people that I have met. I have not met a bad person. I have not met somebody that has come to me and go, you know what, you believe you suck. I haven't met that. They sit down and they have a conversation with me. And if I have
Hmm.
questions, they do what they can to answer the questions for me. If they don't know the answers, they say, well, you know what, I don't know, but here's where you might be able to find it. And if you can't find it here, then somebody here might be able to find it for you. So I mean, it's just the overwhelming support that I have received and still am receiving has just been so awesome for me. And and like I said, the opening of it all was for me was for ReasonCon, and I'm going back this year, damn it, and I'm going back as not somebody sitting in the corner going,
Well, guess who else is going to be there?
are you going to be there?
I am.
Woohoo!
I already have my ticket, so
Yes.
Awesome.
I just have to figure out how I'm getting down there. But I got a few months.
Yeah, we only got 4, no big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't take off last year. We actually drove up after work and
Oh,
missed the whole Friday night thing. So I'm taking off this Friday, or the Friday that we're driving up, and we're leaving that morning, and I'm going to be there for the whole thing.
so am I. I got my ticket
Right.
for the whole shebang.
I
Yay!
cannot wait. I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait. Because, like I said, I get to go up there with a whole different mindset now. So
Absolutely. And I mean, if you had fun before, I bet you'll just like have an amazing time this time.
that's what I'm hoping for. And I have a feeling my hopes are going to come true.
Well, it's interesting. I've been an atheist for 25 years,
Wow.
and I went to my first conference just in November 1st. It
Mm.
was they called it the non-conference for non-believers, and it was in Toronto, and it was the first one ever in Toronto and Ontario, as far as I know. And you see, we have a little different up here. I kind of live in this bubble where no one actually gives a shit that I'm an atheist, for the most part anyway.
Right.
And we don't have churches like there's a number of them, but it's not like I've heard, in the South when you meet somebody, the first, oh, what church do you go to? Like no one would ask that here.
Oh,
Charlotte,
that's
North
a
Carolina has
conversation.
over 700 churches.
Jesus.
Oh, wow. I don't know if y'all heard. We had quite the drama in a little old town of Statesboro, Georgia here. I don't know if y'all are
Yes.
familiar with Georgia Southern.
I just listened to your episode earlier, so yes, I did hear about that.
Oh, yeah. It's First off, to see something like that happen, no, you don't see signs like that put up next to a nativity scene around here.
So, and in case anybody doesn't know, it was the FFRF sign that they put up next to the nativity scene on public property.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of backlash from, of course, your Christians. But there was a lot of Christians, too, that saw the reason why it was done. They're like, we agree. If there's a nativity scene there, then they should be able to put their banner up. And so we were kind of surprised by that. But we had the preacher of the church there in Statesboro, which is probably 2 blocks wide, wrote a follow-up to the banner. And he wasn't very nice at all. If anybody wants to read it, they can go to the Statesboro Herald and read about it.
I saw that, but I didn't get to read the article. I know what you're talking about.
Dave, that'd be somebody that you could go toe-to-toe with. That I'd like to see y'all two go. You think, no. You think, look, I've never been on a conversation with Matt Slick before, but I have heard conversations with this man.
Fuck, that guy.
I think I have to, my TV, if I wouldn't have stopped listening to it, I'd have to buy a brand new TV. Okay.
You and me both.
But that column, the backlash, the response that he did to the banner would make Max look like an angel. Okay.
Oy.
Yeah, that's how bad it was.
So that would be along the lines of Westboro Baptist Church, I bet.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. This man is so far gone, and my thought process was, okay, this man's supposed to be a pastor. He, regardless of what's put up, he is supposed to be somebody who loves all people, whether we might not believe in God or not. He believes that we all believe in God, so he's supposed to love us regardless.
Oh, one of those dumbasses.
Yeah. So he just, I'm just now getting to the point where if I see things either on Twitter or on Facebook that upsets me, I've gone to the point now to where I start voicing my opinion, especially if I see a Christian person attack an atheist in any way, shape, or form, or atheism, period, because I've met the atheist. Have I met a bad one yet? No. Do I think maybe later on in life I might? Maybe. But as of right now, I haven't. So I'm going to defend what I know.
Yeah.
And
speaking of it, sorry, well, no, you're talking about not having met a bad atheist, and well, I have. I do know a couple of them.
Okay.
So you're going to meet them sooner or later, but
right.
I don't really think that it has much to do with atheism any more than you can be a Christian and a bad person, or you can be an atheist and a bad person.
Right.
You can be a Christian and a good person, or an atheist and a good person. I'm not necessarily sure that that one necessarily goes with the other, but the important thing is many people who are atheists are very, very aware that this is all we've got. We need to do the best with it that we can, and I think that may be the major difference. Speaking of people who are not concerned with doing the best they can, I don't know if you guys heard the news, and Heretic Woman will appreciate this because Nate Phelps was at NonCon.
Yes, I had dinner with Nate. Yeah.
Yes. Well, his nephew just recently left Westboro Baptist Church, and he had posted a link to the article.
I saw that. Yeah.
So I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I read like the first 2 pages that I could get to on my phone, and I'm going to go back and read it later. But these folks over at Westboro Baptist Church, they're not concerned with being good. They have an excuse. They're already saved.
Yeah.
Atheists don't have that excuse.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
And my favorite one is, you know, when they're being a dick. Like for the one I hear the most is people being a dick to gay people, and they'll be like, "Well, it's not my idea. That's what God wants." I'm like, if you weren't a bigoted prick, then you wouldn't be buying into this shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
precisely.
you can say it doesn't come from you, but that's just a bunch of bullshit.
Yes, it is. I completely agree with you.
It's like ridiculous. I'm really lucky that kind like, for instance, that whole thing about putting nativity scenes on public property. You will not see that here. Just no, and not even like you'll see them on church lawns
Hmm.
and the odd private home you might see one, but that's it. And that really makes me happy because I would be the one out there going, "You're putting a fucking flying spaghetti monster next to that bugger right now."
Well, when we had gone and met with Sash, last Sunday, was it
Hmm.
last? I think it was. No, not yesterday, but the Sunday before that. We went and met with Sash. They meet once a month, and Sash is the Statesboro Atheist Humanist Secular Association. So we went and met with them, and when everything was said and done, they were talking about, oh well, the banner went up in the free speech zone. Well, I'm thinking just a little old corner on the side of the road, you know, like where you see your political signs. You know,
Yeah.
I never would have imagined in the downtown heart of Statesboro, Georgia, on a courthouse lawn. Never saw that coming. We're driving through, we're following somebody. I'm like, we're going to downtown Statesboro, you know, and the only thing down there are sidewalks, not grass. So we pull up and we park, and I look over and I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? The courthouse? So
Wow.
we walk around the corner, and there sits the pretty little nativity scene on a courthouse lawn. And yeah,
Wow.
the free speech zone is, you know, a little square area. And I've heard a lot of people say, well, why did the sign have to go right there? And I'm like, well, the free speech zone was only so big. Where did you expect us to put it? What, beside y'all? Then you'd bitch because we put it beside you.
Put
You
it
know.
put it on top of it, you know.
But I was just amazed that it was on the courthouse lawn. You know, I understand why they allowed it. As people would say, okay, if you're gonna place a nativity scene on a courthouse lawn, then you need to allow whoever else wants to do it.
Yeah.
But the point is, it shouldn't even be there because of this situation. I mean, now you're gonna have an all-right war in the middle of Statesboro, Georgia, you know, and this is not cool.
I'll pop the popcorn.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
supposedly
just
there were
pull up.
signs put out, and you know, of course you got the nativity scene, then you've got the banner, the FFR banner, then you've got this other sign that's pointing to the banner. Of course, it shows that a Christian put it out there. Then there was another banner that was put next to it to say something about the Christians that were pointing to the FRF banner. I'm like,
Oh,
if anybody's making any money off of this, it's the people that have to make the banners. You know, the
You
banner
want to be a sign company in that town.
Yeah. I'm like, hey,
oh
we need to
wow.
open shop.
Oh shit.
So
So,
that
That
was
was,
so I was gonna say, so Ashley, what are some of your favorite what the fuck Bible moments?
okay. One of my favorites is what I mentioned
Mhm.
at the earlier part of the show is, you know, the whole idea that Eve, you know, I never understood why we had pains. I was just always told it's because Eve, you know, ate from the forbidden fruit tree, whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it. And I'm like, okay, well, I actually never read, you know, the story. And then when I started reading the story and found out there was two creation stories, that was my first what the F moments.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, so which one am I supposed to go by here, you know? And then when I read that you know, Eve is the one who's being punished for you know, eating the forbidden fruit, yet she wasn't even created yet, and she's getting blamed for this.
Yeah.
Or she's being punished and she wasn't even there. Why didn't Adam tell her what was going on? And then
yeah, well, that's the thing because basically God's directive about eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil was to Adam alone, and Eve didn't have that benefit. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
Eve
So
had
men should be going through labor pains, not women.
Exactly. Well, and like I said too, she couldn't have known what was right and what was wrong because she hadn't had the fruit yet. So how was she supposed to know what was wrong, supposedly?
Right. As far as she knew, the damn snake was God.
Yeah,
As far as she knew. And
exactly.
probably my next, the what the F moment would probably be the whole Lot offering his two daughters to the townspeople in place,
Ugh,
instead
that's
of angels. I'm
that's
sorry,
one of my favorites.
I can never imagine in a million years offering my children. I have two boys. But I can never imagine if they were girls. I can never imagine townspeople coming to me going, "Hey, you must give us these angels that are in your house to, so that we can have our way with them." And then me go, "Oh, no, 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 you're not going to take them. Take my kids." Hell no.
Yeah.
What
So,
if there's anybody in my house, I'm going to protect them.
well, and I've heard told that, well, Lot knew that they were angels, and he knew he had, like, if they're fucking angels, they can protect their own goddamn self. Like,
that's a good point.
They have the shield of God.
I know. It's like, you're a fucking angel. You're just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to get raped now. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And then I realized that the Bible, it's not the Bible, it's the Bible. That it's full of so much contradictory stuff, man. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
when I'm sitting there and I'm reading, I'm like, okay, this man lived to be 980 years, and then because of some outrageous act that one of the man did or something, he can no longer live to be over 120 years, and then you go a couple of pages further and it says, oh, this man lived to be 800 and something years old, and I'm like, wait a minute, time out. 2 pages ago you just told me he wasn't going to live more than 120 years. So it's just all the contradictory, and then all the constant repeating of itself. I swear, I think that whoever wrote the Bible was paid by words. There's
Oh,
no
good
doubt in
point.
my mind. If there was a
Well,
way to track it.
there's the part, because I've been recently listening to, there's Thomas in the Bible who's reading, and in all honesty, and it's nothing to do with Thomas, it got so bad that I even have stopped doing that for the time being. And, there's only so much he can do with the thing. But the part where they're describing building the damn tabernacle and, like, fucking, this many nails and this many cubits and all that shit, and and I felt bad for him, because it was like 2 chapters later they moved, and then somebody was like, oh, well, you have to describe the entire fucking tabernacle all over again, and Thomas was like, no.
And
That's the same thing that did Molten Sea.
Yes.
You have the story in 1 Kings chapter 7, and then you also have it later in 2 Chronicles chapter 4. And it's the same damn story.
Yeah. I guess Bronze Age nomads had pretty shitty memories or something. I don't know.
And then I'm trying to think. There was one other. Just one thing that got me, and it'll come back to me in a minute. I've totally forgot about it, but it will come back to me. I cannot remember it for the save my life right now.
Go for it, Dave.
Here's another contradiction that most people don't seem to realize, and this is the one that Bill Robbins and I were putting the screws to Matt Slick on. Is the 2 lineages of Jesus.
Yes.
One occurs in Matthew, one occurs in Luke. And while it's true there are 2 lineages of Jesus, there is actually a 3rd line of descendancy that is in the Old Testament. I'm gonna have to go look it up, but I was looking at. Wait a minute, I may have it. Hang on. Which book was it in? Oh crud! Come on.
It's never there when you want it.
No.
No, I remember.
It's that Murphy fucker.
Well, while you look that up, you
Yeah.
reminded me of my thought, Dave, by the way, when you said Bill Robbins. One of the things that I remembered was, and Bill and Susie are the ones that informed me of this. I did not know that Sodom and Gomorrah were not married. Never.
Yeah.
So when he was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and forewarn you, Sodom and Gomorrah were not married, and I'm like, what? What do you mean? So I'm reading in the Bible, and
Yeah,
I'm
they
like,
weren't a couple.
oh, they're freaking towns. Of course they weren't married. All my life, I thought these were people.
Oh boy.
That's what I was raised as. Nobody ever told me that they weren't people.
Well, one of my favorite, and I think this might be in Genesis. Is Moses in Genesis? No.
No, that's gonna be.
No, that's like. Do you want spoilers or do you
Oh no,
care?
I'm good with spoilers. I'm good with.
Okay, because one of my favorite one. Well, then there's Job and his daughters. Or was it who was it? Fucked his daughters. Was it Job or Lot? I can never remember. Lot, yeah, that's another one of my favorites. Like, oh, we want to get pregnant, we'll go fuck daddy. But another one was a guy, and his name escapes me, but he was fucking his wife, and he decided he didn't want to finish in her, so
That's in Genesis.
Onan.
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 O-N.
I read that about 6 chapters back.
Yes. And so he finishes on the ground, and God's like, oh, fuck you, and just incinerates the guy. It's like, no warning, no, hey, don't do that, just fuck you. And
Or better yet, do you ever fear to look over your shoulder?
yeah.
Wait, hold on. Deborah, do that again.
What?
Whole thing, what? Yeah.
What?
That. Fuck you.
Don't spill that shit.
You're going to see across Facebook tonight.
Yeah.
If you want to know what that means.
Yeah, go jerk it on the floor somewhere, you'll find out, And apparently, and a lot of Christian sects use that as the reason why you're not supposed to masturbate. And I'm like, but he wasn't jerking it. He was fucking his wife. Like,
Oh, but we're not supposed to take it literal, remember?
Yeah.
Here's the thing about that, though. You've got, you're not supposed to spill it on the ground. It doesn't say anything about sock or Kleenexes.
Well, funny you should mention that. We had this discussion in one of our Ask calls, and Miss Ashley won't know about that, but in the Atheists on Air Facebook group, we have like a conference call number we use to chat with each other, and so we were on an Ask call. It's called Atheist Secular Support Ask. And Professor Stephen was there, and we were talking about this particular thing, and he actually said, well, I use a sock. So, like, I'm good.
Maybe they should take the cup.
Yeah.
To his brothers that killed him. No, didn't really kill him. They sold him. Maybe they should use the cup.
There you go. The one he sent the silver cup with his brother. That would work.
Yeah, that would work.
I think so.
Pouring it all over the ground.
Yep. But of course, my favorite verse of all time has to be Ezekiel 23:20.
Why is that always the favorite verse of women?
I've never heard of it. So
favorite verse of women.
Can you? I was gonna say, can you get it out, Dave? Can you find it?
Dave, we're talking about masturbation. Can you get it up?
Not right now.
Would you like a cup or a sock? Hey, y'all started.
I'm good, thanks.
No, I was gonna look for the actual because I don't have it memorized verbatim yet. I only
Okay,
it's
what is it? I have my. I want to show y'all something because this is pretty awesome. See what I have?
hang on, let me get. Oh, look at that!
This,
Disciples Study Bible.
yes, this is where I do my atheist Bible study from.
Awesome.
So,
So it's Ezekiel 23:20.
okay,
Actually, this will be good. We can see how Miss Ashley likes the verse.
okay, Ezekiel. What is it now?
23:20.
23:20. Wow, I don't even know if my Bible's been opened that far before. Bobby's hollering. It has. Just that opened it.
Dave's having too much fun with things. Well, since Dave started using effects, now it's popped up on mine. So, because I am the hostess with the mostest.
Y'all gonna make me start now. Okay, so 23:20, right?
Yes.
There she left it after her lovers, whose genitals were like those of donkey. What? Hold on. Damn. I'd lust after my lover too if his was like a donkey, and his emission was like that of a horse. Holy shit!
Exactly.
I need a pen. Damn.
Yeah.
Ivy, why did you start me out in Genesis? Maybe I would have remained a Christian.
Oh,
I'll take that first literal.
Now you see, that's
that was a once in a lifetime event right here on Beyond the Surface Park.
Well, y'all got y'all's split the F and hold this moment.
Well, yeah, you see why that's my favorite.
I can understand that. I think from now on, whenever a Christian tries to tell me I'm wrong, I think I'll just quote that out.
It works well. I've done that.
Like, oh yeah, you go check out Ezekiel 23:20 and tell me what you think.
There's a couple of fellas that I've run into on Twitter, and they have a podcast out of California, and I can't remember what city it is, but it's called Make a Believer Out of Me. And they often have dialogue with Christians on their show, but one of the episodes of theirs I watched, they had Richard Carrier on. And you should look it up. It's a really good episode. And the three of them start talking about Ezekiel 23:20, and they have like a stack of versions of the Bible, and they start flipping through the different versions and comparing how this is described in the various Bibles. It's a great episode. You should totally check it out.
Okay, now here's the funny part there. Now that you mentioned that about seeing the different verses, I have Bible for Kids as an app on my phone.
Okay. Oh, this should be good.
I want to see what the Bible app for Kids says.
It generally gets left out of children's Bibles for some reason.
I don't even know if it's got a search button.
Hard to say.
Because I would really like to see what that says. Huh? Yeah, I'm being told it's probably not on there. I guess that's one.
Probably. Oh, look, Dave's gone Pastafarian.
No, pirate. It's pirate.
Pirates are Pastafarian, Dave. Come on, learn your religions.
Oh, my goodness. Well, that verse could definitely make a believer out of me.
Oh,
I'm all hot bothered now.
Well, that makes for a good spot for me to bring a new segment to the show that I'm gonna start this week, and it's called Creation Moment. Dave actually signed me up for this lovely mailing list a few weeks ago, and it's called Creation Moments. It's great. He messages me. He's like, "Hey, give me a throwaway email address." I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "Yeah, here," and he signs me up for this mailing list. But It's actually it's going to make itself useful because there's some seriously crazy shit in there that's really worth talking about. So today's creation moment, apparently there is new scientific evidence for the flood. Now, and it starts off with a Bible verse from Genesis 7:20, which is about the flood, and it says that 15 cubits of water covered the mountains. So right off the bat, I'm like, 15 seems like an awfully low number, and I looked it up, and that's not even 7 meters. So
No.
7 meters of water somehow covered Mount Everest. So yeah, it gets off to a really good start there, and so they talk about how there definitely was a flood, and that if there was a flood, there should be evidence all over the place. So and scientists that believe in creation, they say that we're surrounded by evidence of the flood, and as many of us who've had this discussion will attest. It'd be, what evidence would that be? Because I don't know of any. But what I love.
You know how they
what's that?
find that evidence, though. They go into floodplains where floods are frequent.
Yes.
and then they come up with something, and they assume that is evidence of a global flood.
Of course.
That's like poaching. That's like poaching.
Shooting fish in a barrel. But this is what I like, though, because as I say, it's the title of this creation moment is new scientific evidence, and then they start off in the September 1989 issue of Geology, which is, they have to point out, is a scientific professional journal. And they talk about, there was an article about something called drumlins. Drumlins are hills that are traditionally associated with glacial activity. And when you view them from the air, they resemble eggs lying in their sides, pointing in the same direction. So it's a hill. And over the last few years, some scientists have proposed that drumlins were formed by large quantities of water running in the same direction. It was just moving really fucking slow.
Maybe the newfound evidence is the found journal from 1980.
1989. Hey, look what I found in Grandpa's attic.
It's evidence.
So it says the article in Geology offers yet more evidence for large quantities of water moving over the continental land surfaces. And one of the scientists remarked that there's nothing in recorded history that matches the size of these floods. Well, if we consider Genesis to be recorded history rather than ancient and ignorant myth, there certainly is a historical record of a huge flood. They said it was glaciers, you dumbass. Oh, but then even better, at the end of that's the whole article of this new evidence. But at the end, they offer you a prayer that you can say to help you with your creation evidence. And it says, "Dear Lord, in our age of unbelief, so many don't even feel they need to apologize for rejecting your word as ancient myths. Help me, along with all of your people, to be bright, shining lights of your truth in this dark world. In Jesus' name, amen." Yeah. So apparently, it wasn't glaciers. It was, the big flood, all moving in the same direction. Which, if the Earth was covered in water, the water in the ocean doesn't all move in the same direction. There are currents that go different places. So, yeah. So that was.
I guess maybe they were trying to talk about drainage.
It's a giant irrigation ditch. Oh, for the Nephilim giants. That's what it was. It was a Nephilim giant irrigation ditch. There you go. There, Beth, there's something for you to chew on. So, yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Creation moments.
I have to so get on that. You're gonna have to tell me where I can find that, or Dave, you're gonna have to send it to me or something.
Uh,
They,
PM me after the show with just a throwaway email address, and I'll set you up for it.
Okay.
yeah, they're pretty prolific fuckers. There's sometimes you get 2 or 3 a day.
Look,
Yes, that's true.
the place where Bobby works, every day he gets a safety message. Okay. And at the end of the safety message, it has a Bible verse. Did you not? Has a Bible verse. We hear
Wow.
it many times because I mean, Bobby hasn't. Some of his coworkers know what his, how where he stands on religion, but
Hmm.
as for corporate, they don't know. And he is a corporate trainer.
Aha.
Um,
Mm.
but you know how many times he has to bite his tongue because a Bible verse will get thrown out and he wants to throw something else back at him.
Yeah, that's
And the
why he's so angry. And let,
Yeah,
let
the
me
funny thing is,
let me say this too. You had brought up something about an atheist movement. I think it's important for people to recognize the difference between atheism and secularism.
mhm,
Atheism is not a movement. Secularism is a movement.
right.
And in Bobby's position, and this is where I am too. I'm not necessarily mad at Christianity. I'm mad that Christians make dumb decisions when they go in the voting booth, and that's what I rail against.
Yes. Or when you make decisions, for your life,
Hmm.
or decisions for your kid's life based on your religious belief. You know,
Yeah.
Precisely.
it doesn't matter, if your kid is sitting there dying and, you can take them to the hospital, but you choose not to because it's against your religious belief.
Yeah.
That's why Nate Phelps' nephew Zacharias left, because he had a back injury and he was pleading with his parents over the course of a couple of weeks to take him to the fucking emergency room, and they wouldn't because they thought that prayer would heal him.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize that Westboro Baptist was also in that camp of
Mhm.
prayer healing, but apparently they are.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard the story from up here that was making the rounds. Um, I actually discussed it on I think it was the show we did with Wesley, when we were talking about weird ass religious shit.
Mhm.
There's a family lives in there's a city about 40 minutes from here, and this was like a major, like, their fucking van. They showed pictures of it in the articles. They had painted prayers and crosses and Jesus shit. They even carved crosses into the plastic of the headlights. Like, seriously, it was ridiculous. So the husband of this family, there was a husband, wife, and 6 children. And the husband of this family was diabetic and developed a severe infection in his leg. And guess what they did instead of going to the hospital, which, as you guys may know, doesn't actually cost you anything directly up here. They opted to pray the infection away. So guess how that turned out?
Mm.
Yeah,
Did
the guy died, and his wife thought it would be a really good idea to board up the bedroom where he died in, leave his
This was
corpse.
that story.
Yes, that's like
Oh.
that's 40 minutes down the road from me. So she boarded up the bedroom, left the body in there, and prayed that God would resurrect her husband. Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, Miss
You know
Ashley's
what?
got all smart there.
I'm a scholar. Um, you know what? I think we read about that on our show too. The woman who had kept her husband in the room for 6 months
Yep,
and to do something with the smell or to get rid of the smell, and the only reason why people were there was because she was being evicted.
that's the one. That
Yes, we had
Mm.
somebody from Canada send us that story, and we discussed it on our show. That just is mind-boggling to me.
it is, and to think that that was just down the road from me, I was like, wow, because
Wow.
yeah. I mean, could you imagine you've got a rotting corpse in the room and you're just gonna sit there and like pray, like, and then you think, if anybody's ever seen stuff like um, Pet Cemetery or horror movies where they bring back dead people, it's like, even if God decided to bring him back, how do you know he's not going to be like some rotting zombie or some shit to teach you a lesson for, going against what he decided to do? But
Yeah, and I hear that she still believes, even though she's been, taken off, hardened off to wherever, when you do things like that, you don't go to jail, you go to a mental institution. But, and she still believes that Jesus
mhm.
is going to come back and save her husband. I mean, going to resurrect her husband.
Well, she actually, because the reason the story surfaced recently was because she had been sentenced, and it was, I'm trying to remember now, if there was jail time at all, it was very minimal, because they reduced the charges to something to the effect of failing to remove a corpse or something like that. They downgraded it from originally what it was going to be. And I believe she may have even gotten the children back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something like that technically is negligent homicide. Is what
Yes.
it is.
Well, now from what they reported is that the husband himself refused to go. Like, he thought he could pray away the infection as well. But yeah, I mean, at that point, you should be saying, okay, the infection's gone to his brain. We need to call somebody here.
So what happens if the kids get sick that she now has possession of?
Yeah, that's a good question. They hopefully are at least monitoring them pretty closely, but who knows? Because I mean, our here they call it children's aid, and it's just as overworked as any other children's services, from what I understand. So
Wow.
who knows? It's crazy, crazy.
I think crazy is a little understatement.
Yep.
Would be my crazy, psychotic, stupid. I mean,
I mean, one look at their van would be like, what the fuck are these people on? Because I mean, a Jesus fish is one thing, or even a hunk if you're saved or some shit. But I mean, the windows were painted over with crazy Jesus shit. And
Wow.
and I mean, who carves shit into your headlights?
oh my God.
No, that's
Dave's
idol work.
speechless.
Is what
I
it
know.
is.
Oh my wow.
Yeah.
It's speaking of, there is a being that it's the Christmas holiday season just before New Year's.
Mhm.
There is there's a favorite passage of many atheists that comes from Jeremiah 10, and it's Jeremiah chapter 10 verses 1 through 4. Hear the word which the Lord speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus says the Lord, learn not the ways of the nations, nor be dismayed at the signs of the heavens, because the nations are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are false. A tree from the forest is cut down and worked with an axe by the hands of a craftsman. Men deck it with silver and gold, they fasten it with hammer and nails so that it cannot move. And that passage is generally taken by atheists to mean, okay, Christians, you can't have fucking Christmas trees.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So that's one spin on it. However, what in Jeremiah 10, what they are doing is they are giving an example of a excuse me. They're giving an example of one of the customs that the heathens and the pagans have, and they're saying don't be like the heathens and the pagans. But he uses the tree for an example. However, what is important is how it goes on after verse 4. Verses 5 and 6, their idols are like scarecrows in a cucumber field, and they cannot speak. They have to be carried, for they cannot walk. Be not afraid of them, for they cannot do evil. Neither is it in them to do good. There is none like thee, O Lord. Thou art great, and thy name is great in might. Now keep in mind the first commandment. I am the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. Second commandment. Thou shalt not craft any graven images, or something to that effect. So if you look at Jeremiah 10 in that context, basically what they're saying is, if you're going to go with the Christmas tree route, you also have to say that you can't do any woodworking at all, including these small wooden crosses that people have on their mantles.
Or around their neck.
Or around their neck, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to have them, according to Jeremiah.
Rosary.
Yeah, it's not just about Christmas trees. It's an extension of that commandment. No graven images.
Yeah, Catholics didn't quite get that memo.
Well, no Christians got the memo, because there's crosses in all the churches, and
I know.
times wood, sometimes they're brass, whatever.
I think Catholics have got statuary at the wazoo.
Oh yeah, they absolutely do. But you got to admit, though, Catholic architecture,
Beautiful.
It's really beautiful stuff.
Absolutely beautiful. I was talking on the weekend about our visit to Quebec a couple of summers ago, and there's a huge basilica outside Quebec City called Saint-Anne-de-Beaupré. And it's, the Pope John Paul had visited there and all that shit. And I'd been there in high school. And so I wanted to go back because it is stunningly beautiful inside. I mean, the craftsmanship and the detail is fantastic. But then, I was in there for combat. I mean, everything's gilded and mosaics and you name it. And I'm walking around, going, wow, this is gorgeous. And I'm like, I wonder how many poor people they could have fed with this shit. A lot of poor people.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I know Jeremiah is way after Genesis or somewhere. I know it's in one of those other, 27, 28, 55 books that I'm expected to read. But you're talking about gods. Did y'all know that in Genesis it mentions household gods?
Yeah.
I want me some of them.
It's
They come in and clean my house and shit. I want some of them.
I haven't found them yet. Trust me, I've been looking a long time.
Well, like I said, I have to do my stuff myself. So.
That's one of the things that pointed out to me several times is they holler about you should have no other gods before me, and I'm like, okay, but in Genesis it talks about household gods. And they're like, oh, well, the Ten Commandments was written after Genesis. I'm like, okay, so that still tells me, what, we're not allowed to have household gods after the Ten Commandments were written?
Mm-hmm.
Were built?
Yeah.
Well, they were stone, they were chiseled,
They were kind of built, I mean, somebody had to, well, they said God did it, but...
Well, you know that those aren't the real Ten Commandments, though, right?
Right, wasn't the first ones like smashed according to the Ten Commandments movie that I've watched before?
And the second ones do not have anything to do with the first ones.
Really?
Yes. In fact, I think I had written something on that.
Yes, you did. You did.
Yeah, I think it's on my phone.
Is it even stated before what the original one said?
What?
Yeah, it's all lined out. In fact, it starts with 10, but then it goes on for like a bazillion more after that.
Yeah, there's 600 plus commandments. But the one about the Ten Commandments, the first set, the one that everybody knows, thou shalt have no other gods before me, thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, all that stuff, those aren't even called the Ten Commandments. The other set is the only set that is called the Ten Commandments.
Really?
Yes, and interestingly enough, one of those commandments is thou shalt not seethe a kid in its mother's milk.
Huh?
In other words, don't boil your baby goat in the milk of its own mother
Yes.
when you're cooking. I think we gave Miss Ashley a headache.
I'm having a moment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Which means that apparently that was a thing.
Yes. Thank you. That's where I'm going at with this. I'm like, okay, so this apparently had to happen in order for somebody to write this shit.
Mhm.
And a lot if they needed an actual rule about it. Like,
Yeah. I mean, and like in Georgia, you know, I had a friend of mine last night. She's getting married. She lives in Virginia, but she's getting married in Georgia, and she posted on Facebook. I just kind of had to, you know, what I was actually drinking a sip of tea when I read it, and I had sped it across the room because she says, We're looking. I'm checking out marriage certificates in Georgia, and my first thought was there's several marriage certificates in Georgia. Okay, and then she says, did y'all know that cousins can marry each other? I'm like,
yep.
what? And then there's this other law that Bobby informed me of that you're apparently, if you molest a squirrel, you go to jail.
Georgia
Well-
has a lot. Georgia has a lot of those blue laws. North Carolina has some too. In fact,
Well, now it's still illegal to have oral sex in Virginia.
it's illegal in North Carolina too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just so everybody knows, I broke that law.
I was about to say, do we need to make sure that anything like not gets stated on? Because I know this is live.
Here's a question I have. We live in a society where it is verboten to eat food off the floor if it falls and hits the floor, but we're perfectly comfortable sticking other people's genitals in our mouth. I mean, what the hell's wrong with that?
I guess the assumption is that you can clean your genitals, but not so much the shit that's
You can
on the
clean
floor.
a floor.
But you're assuming that the floor. You can't assume that the floor was cleaned at the time of the food dropping. But
Look,
you can. But you can ask.
assume that they're clean either.
You can ask at least, hey, did you wash your dick today?
Be careful, don't lie or you'll go to hell.
I dated a girl one time who told me that the one thing that she hated most of all was to suck a dirty dick, and I just went.
Dave, what kind of conversations did you have in school with people?
No, this was after college. I did, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why would this even be a thing?
Apparently, she didn't look before she sucked, I guess.
Maybe she was letting you know that she doesn't mind.
Oh,
That could have been her way.
well, let's switch gears and stop talking.
About dirty dicks, yes.
Let's stop talking about this kind of dirty dick and start talking about another kind of dirty dick, which is Kirk Cameron.
Yes.
Now, last night, Ashley told me that she and Bobby C were watching Left Behind. Now, is this the Left Behind reboot, or is this the Left Behind, the original Left Behind with Kirk Cameron?
No, I saw the original Left Behind probably about 15, 16 years ago with my grandparents. But the one that we watched was the one with
Nicolas Cage.
yes.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes, that's the one.
Okay.
Where the daughter runs around and is a devout non-believer. And then all of a sudden people start vanishing. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden she believes in God now. So yeah, that's the one we watched. As a matter of fact, we like watching these shows or these movies because hey, we just like to sit back and because they're comical to us.
Mm-hmm.
But we also like to see how things are portrayed, because I've actually read the Left Behind books. I read them, the same time I watched the first original Left Behind movie, 14, 15 years ago. And now my 14-year-old's watching them with us, but he's not watching it in the same fashion I did. I watched it in the fashion of, oh shit, this shit's true.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He's watching it with a skeptical mind. something happens, he asks questions. Whereas I sat back scared to death. So, but yeah, I mean, some of the acting could have been a little bit better. How convenient for have y'all seen the one with Nicolas Cage?
No.
No, and I wanted to ask you about your impressions of it because there was something interesting that happened. There was a review of that movie that I won't get into right now, but I wanted to hear what your impressions of the film were.
It was alright. I mean, there's
Right.
it's alright. There's, for me personally, you know how sometimes the movies are better than the book. I mean, the books are better than the movies. Well, I couldn't make that determination with this because it seems like the movie was verbatim, word for word of the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, reading the book, I could sit there and watch the movie, this certain movie, and go, okay, I could tell you what's going to happen next, word for word. Because that's what it was literally word for word. And it was probably better than the one that Kirk Cameron did, I will say that. But I'm also viewing it as an adult now.
Yeah.
I'd actually probably have to go back and watch the Kirk Cameron one to fully say, which one's better or what. But as an adult, I thought this one was better. It might be because I like Nicolas Cage, but that's just me.
Oh, that's fair enough. The thing that I thought was very funny was that there was the movie reviewer for, I believe it was Christianity Today, saw the movie, like a day or so before it came out, and he wrote his review, and he panned it bad. And this is Christianity Today downgrading a Christian movie. And basically his point was it wasn't Christian enough.
Oh,
yeah, I was just about to say that. I was about to say it's probably because it was not Christian enough for him. Because in the movie, the daughter, now I don't ever remember the daughter acting the way she did now in the book, okay? Mm-hmm. And that was probably about the only difference that I really saw versus the book versus the movie. But in the movie, you think, okay, this girl is a devout atheist, okay, whose mama, she says that her mama's been on the Kool-Aid too long and that she can't, handle being around her mama because it's a constant, every time she gets around her mom, she's like, now we need to sit down and we need to discuss God. Well, the daughter doesn't want to sit down and discuss God. And then when the mom tries to discuss God, the mom's just like us. We're throwing, okay, well, why would your God allow daddy to go off when he knows I'm coming to visit him for his birthday? Why would God allow millions of people to starve? Why would God allow 2 airplanes to fly into the World Trade Center? Things like that. Yeah. Why would God allow starving people? There was a lot more of that in this movie, and Christian, it wasn't full blown, everything wasn't, well, the Bible says God loves you, all that. There's some cheating going on, and there's a lot of things that are going on that makes you go, okay, now why did he get saved, but this person didn't get, not saved, but raptured, I guess you would call it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there is a lot of that going on. So, I mean, I can understand where he would say it wasn't Christian enough for him because they actually played it to non-believers and to believers.
Right. The way this reviewer put it was that he said it was an action movie with some Christian icons thrown about the scenery. Yeah. Was basically it. You saw a cross on a pillow or God bless on a picture on a wall or something like that. And that was the limit of the movie's Christianity.
Yeah, I would say that. But on the same hand, I mean, the rapture enough. I mean, people just vanishing, cars flying. What they did was they took the movie and they made it real. They made it, okay, here's what's really going to happen if people just disappear all of a sudden, to air pilots fly on a plane and all of a sudden they disappear. What the hell you think is going to happen? You think the plane's just going to hang out in the air and land itself? You know, and cars that all of a sudden don't have anybody driving them. You think they just going to stay? I mean, you think they're just going to stay on the straight and narrow path and turn when they're supposed to? No, they're going to run into buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So they made it more realistic.
Okay.
That might be where he's getting the action from.
I heard somewhere somebody said, it might have been one of those dorks like Ray Comfort or somebody, who tried to claim that airlines will only allow one Christian in the cockpit in case they get raptured or some shit.
Well, hell, and I don't know if y'all have heard, but apparently there was a plane that the whole damn plane got raptured.
That's right. Malaysia, I think it was.
What?
Malaysian Airlines, they got raptured. That's why we can't find them.
Remember the flight about almost a year ago, and now we've got another one that's come up missing?
Yeah.
So maybe apparently it had too many Christians on it.
That's it. Yeah. They took the rest of the people because somebody has to cook and clean for all the Christians, you know.
Yeah, and apparently God needs planes, so.
Well, you know,
Those would be the household gods.
Yes, there you go.
That's right. He's building his houses out of planes.
Oh shit. Well, you know, in Mormon theology, they have several levels of heaven, and they actually have a doctrine that if you're not as good of a Mormon, you could end up, you know, you still get to go to heaven, but you might be, you know, serving drinks to the upper echelon of people in heaven. But, you know, Mormons are kind of...
that.
Yeah.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I have Bobby on across from me, and he's giving me side notes, right? Okay, kind of like the director, you know.
Yes.
I think. He says he's using planes to haul building materials.
Or the whole thing is just a giant episode of Lost. That's it.
There you go.
Well, I actually found a copy of Left Behind in the trunk of my dad's car.
Oh.
Pulling some stuff out of there not long ago, and I brought it home, and I snapped a picture of it, and I put it on Facebook.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So there's no way he needs it. Frankly, I'm surprised that man's not. I'm surprised that man's not dead already. But there should be no reason to have any book, let alone that one, in the trunk of his car.
Well, yeah, what are you going to do? Is that for reading material if you get a flat or something? Yeah.
Emergency stash of toilet paper, I guess.
Well, that should be a Bible, shouldn't
it? Could be either.
Yeah.
I mean, they're both shitty books, let's be honest.
Yes. Although I have to say the worst of them all is the Quran. I'm listening to Paul, man, but it's even he's like, I have to read more of that.
The reason why I'd Left Behind was I'm sorry. You know, Bobby does this to me, okay? The reason why Left Behind was in the trunk of the car is for when the bodies are stashed in the trunk of the car. They have something to read.
That's Bobby.
Hi, Bobby. Oh shit! But what if it's what if it's an atheist body? Then what the fuck are they gonna? They're not gonna want to read that shit.
Atheist body, they're leaving that in the trunk so that way, hopefully, they have that last chance.
Oh, okay.
The very last chance before the angel of death comes opens up the trunk. And takes them.
Is that like Saved by Osmosis or something?
Yes, that would be it.
Oh shit. Oh.
Goes with him.
Wow. Oh.
So I was just looking in the chat room, and it doesn't seem that there were many people in there at all tonight.
Yeah, and I apologize. I'm running two browsers here, and it's a little hectic to flip back and forth there.
I was about to say, oh, we have a chat room?
Yeah, Cash very graciously allows me to use his chat room. So that's over at aoa.fm/live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it is. Cash is very gracious with his resources and advice, etc. So,
Well, we're
in
going to
fact,
say because everybody's still out for the holidays with family members and things like that, it's not because of your guest on the show.
oh no. Everybody's excited to see Miss Ashley because this is like your camera debut, is it not?
Yeah, I was about to say, y'all have popped my camera cherry.
Woo! Oh, for that we need to. There.
This is the first on-camera live show that I have ever done.
Wee! Well, thank you.
Bobby might have created a monster, or y'all might have created a monster.
That's okay. Well, any old time you want to come back, you're more than welcome. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. And we definitely want to have. We've had Mr. Dave on the show, so he knows he's always welcome. And maybe I can find some more school, education conversations for you.
That was such an awesome video. Oh my God.
Okay, for the people who are watching this, what Ashley is talking about is a video that Bobby C recorded of me listening to Miss Ashley read a paper from somebody who's taking classes at a college near there, and it's just the level of, we're not even, that's a whole advanced level of stupid.
Yeah, because
but you can find the video on my page, I think,
yes.
On my Facebook page. It's
yes, it is.
Facebook.com/Dave.Foda. And just look through my photo albums and the videos, and it should be there. Or actually, no, I shared it directly from the NRR page.
It'll be on your timeline.
Yeah, I will download the video and put it into my videos so that it's on my page.
Excellent.
Because if anybody wants to know, the girl that wrote it is from Florida. Y'all know that's just south of Tampa.
Where was she writing this to? Like did you say it was to a professor?
Yes.
Yes. See, I take online courses. I'm in the process of getting not my master's, I wish, my bachelor's in business administration.
Okay.
And each class is 5 weeks long. Well, this was the beginning of a class, and in the beginning of the class, the first week, you have to post your biography in a discussion, and you're graded on the discussion. I can only imagine what her grade was, but that was her introducing herself. And sometimes I'll go through, because you have to respond to two of them to get credit. So I go through and read which ones I want to respond to in a professional manner, and I read hers, and I'm like, okay, I cannot in the right mind respond without letting her know that her grade is going to be what the fuck. Okay. That's what her grade would have been.
They should have that as an actual grade, WTF.
A, B, C, D, F,
WTF.
Just so you know, this is how the alphabet goes. A, B, C, D, what the? WTF.
Oh shit! That was great. That part where she's like, "I love my daddy." It's like, okay, we need to know this. Why?
Maybe her daddy's Lot was named Lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. Do they have a cave in the backyard, I wonder?
Well, I don't know. They might, because, Florida's just south of Tampa, so, they could.
Okay, I'm from fucking Canada, and I even know where Tampa is, okay?
Okay, that's north of Florida.
I've been at least as far as Orlando. Okay.
That would
Well,
be that would be north of Florida.
Yeah.
well, you know what happened. You know that there that are in and around Charleston. You're either from Charleston or you're from off.
Oh. Okay.
You know, there is Charleston and there is not Charleston,
Really?
and that's basically what it is.
Huh.
Well, I'm from Savannah, and we call it Savannah, and it's in Georgia.
I've been to Georgia. I have. Well, you wouldn't know this. I used to be married to a Richmond boy. So, and his parents were living in Georgia. Well, his mom's still there, but yeah. So I got to visit Georgia a couple of times and all around in there.
You didn't miss much, did you?
Well, now mother-in-law lives in Dalton, so we went over the border to Chattanooga.
I was about to say that Dalton could be construed as Dalton, Tennessee, or Dalton,
Yeah,
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah. Well, we went over to see Chattanooga.
Chattanooga.
Yes, yes. Which I found the fact that the Chattanooga Choo Choo lyrics were on the sidewalk was rather amusing. Like,
The what?
the lyrics to the song "The Chattanooga Choo Choo" is engraved in the sidewalk in downtown Chattanooga. Ooh.
If that didn't play perfectly.
Wow.
So, I've got an echo now. Dave, what the hell did you do?
I didn't do anything.
Because I can hear myself now.
I'm not getting an echo on this end.
Am I getting an echo?
I can hear you twice.
At ours?
Yeah.
Hey, equipment man. Are you having issues with your equipment again?
Oh, shit. Yeah, I hear myself about 10 seconds or no, like a couple of seconds after I say it. It's really fucking annoying.
Mine is like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm not getting an echo from either one of you at all.
You're not echoing.
That's weird.
And
Oh. Having way too much fun with that. Because
Did the
I
echo
was. What's that?
Did the echo go away?
No, it's still there. Because I was. Before we start wrapping things up, going to talk about my logical fallacy for the day, but I'm driving myself crazy now because I hear myself over and over again.
Well,
You broke Miss Ashley.
maybe you just take the earbuds out.
Well, then I can't hear anything.
Okay, we'll be quiet.
But I hear myself. That's the problem.
Nothing I can do about that.
Fuck. How the hell did that happen?
Gotta love the technical issues of life.
The hell was that?
Drama.
Hello?
Oh, see, I muted myself there, and that didn't help. Oh, great.
Those are not part of Google Effects, by the way.
I see. hearing us giggling and echo is really fucking weird. I wish I knew how the hell that happened. But I don't.
Well, given the fact that it is 10 after 11 at this point, I know that Ashley probably needs to get a move on and get some sleep for tomorrow.
Apparently.
Ashley, do you have any closing remarks for us?
First off, I want to tell y'all, I'm going to repeat myself twice, apparently. I'm going to talk slow. I don't know if I can get through that.
Try taking your headphones off while you talk. And just say it. There we go.
Okay, how about now?
I can hear you twice, but...
Okay, it's still echoing, but I will say... Man, the glasses in the hat, man. So what I would like to say is for having me on your show. I really had a blast. And thank you for popping my video live chat. I cannot thank y'all enough. You can probably walk around saying Prop Ashley. But you know what? I can listen to AOA Beyond the Trailer Park. It's an awesome show. And I would also like to say, listen to New Religion Required, where you can hear Miss Ashley and myself. Miss Ashley read Atheists, or the Bible. Not the Atheist Bible, but the Bible. Y'all don't understand. I hear my sitting across the table. And if you would like to listen to us, you can listen to us Breaker, iTunes, Stitcher. You can also download us or you can go and download us at religionrequired.com. We also do deconversion stories, so if there's anybody out there that would like to send us a deconversion story, please do so at noreligionrequired@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter is _Ashley RR, and I don't know what No Religion Required is.
No Religion Required is at No Religion REQ.
That's it.
If I remember correctly. And folks, let me just say this. No Religion Required is one of the best podcasts you're probably not listening to, so you need to get on that shit.
I agree.
Besides, AOA Beyond. So if you're not listening to us right now,
get your ass out there and listen.
Well, as most of you know, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/dave.foda. I'm also on Twitter at davefoda, no dashes or dots there. And you can find Heretic Woman. I'll go ahead and say this because she's got a fucking echo and she will be talking like this. You can find her on Twitter at Heretic Woman, and you can find the show's Twitter handle at Beyond TT Park.
Yeah. I'm gonna drive myself crazy if I try and talk much here. There, if I take out the earbuds, I can't hear myself, and it's not quite so bad. So, Ashley, very nice. Awesome. So I can't hear anything right now, but I want to thank Miss Ashley for joining us. We had a wonderful time. And thank you to Dave for pitching in for Beth. I'm sure she appreciates it. And I think I'm going to end the evening because Ashley and I are going to drive each other crazy, echoing like a fucking tin can. So join us on the trailer park, and from all of us, have a great night.
have a great night.